Hey world, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com. Hope you're having a fantastic week. All right, so I'm wrapping up a small 2-week series called the Studio Detox. Already I've deleted over 100 plugins from my software. I have set up my 2 main microphones that I'm going to use for 95% of all recording sessions, and I've created a complete mixing template that will save me probably 50 plus hours this year in wasted time when I do my mixes. All of those previous entries for the Studio Detox can be found at the site. Just go to therecordingrevolution.com and search Studio Detox. All right, one last detox for us. This is something that I'm going to be implementing all year long, and I'm passing it on to you in case it's helpful to you. This year, I'm going to try to do a lot more mixing without plugins. Now, what do I mean? Am I not going to ever use any plugins? No, that's pretty hard to do. Here's what I mean by mixing without plugins. Here's the old me. I would fire up a session, throw up some faders, take a listen, and start inserting plugins. Some compression here, some EQ here, some reverb here. A couple hours later, I have a mix. A lot of times though, I'm not happy with that mix. And I try to tweak and tweak and tweak, and I just end up having to finish it and hope it's okay. If you ever found yourself in that situation and you're frustrated with the results, you might find that a better way to get a better mix is to mix for a lot longer without any plugins. Here's what I mean. On at least 3 or 4 occasions this past year, I did a mix for a client, wasn't really happy with where it's going after 3-4 hours, scrapped the entire thing, and instead started from scratch, pulled up all the faders, and did a no plug-in mix, meaning I'm just playing with faders and pan, for a solid hour. And within that hour, I felt like the mix was already 80% of the way there without any plugins. And then once I added some EQ, some compression, some specific intentional mix moves that we're all familiar with, the mix came together very quickly. I started to see this pattern, and I've seen it again and again, and I saw it again recently with mixing for dueling mixes on a recent month. Here's what I'm learning. The first thing I suggest anybody to do when mixing is to start with a 10-minute mix, okay? Go watch me mix a song in 10 minutes without any plugins, and you get an idea of what I'm talking about. The idea with a 10-minute mix is simply to get your first impressions on the page, as it were, to just start moving things where you think they should go immediately and not overthink things. Work quickly, work fast, and put everything in a rough, stable, static mix. What I'm suggesting that you and I do is expand on that, do our 10-minute mix, and then still live in volume and pan mode with no plugins for almost the remainder of the hour. Here's what happens when I do this. I find myself listening through the entire song multiple times, hearing the choruses, hearing the bridge, hearing the turn, hearing the solo, hearing every little thing, and I continue to make small adjustments. No, that shouldn't be there. That should be a little louder. That should be a little quieter. Okay, the bass seemed fine, but actually now I don't have enough low end here, and I continue to adjust, and I adjust the pan. Okay, I like that on the left, but it doesn't complement what's happening on the right. Or I thought I should have those hard left and right, but really I need something else up the middle, and I continue to tweak and tweak and tweak. And after a solid hour of the no plug-in mix, I have something that feels right. That even though it's muddy, even though there's overlapping frequencies, even though I love some saturation in there, or I need a little bit of delay to make that vocal kind of stand out a little bit, honestly, I could present that mix to the client and they would feel like it's coming together because I've found the right place for everything. A lot of it's like live mixing, okay? I mix for our church band a lot of times on Sundays. And when I'm mixing them, I'll throw up faders and not use any plugins or any compression or any EQ for a while. I try to just get the right volume level because volume has a huge impact on how we hear tracks. A lot of times I find myself trying to EQ in some more low end or compress something to get more low end when all I needed to do is turn the bass guitar up 3 dB. Okay, it's that overthinking things that gets me in trouble, at least. So I can only speak from experience. So my challenge to myself to cleanse out my workflow that's overcomplicated and a lot of times gets me into trouble is to simplify and reduce and spend a lot longer in the no plugin phase. I think what you'll find is even though you're itching to get some plugins in there and clean up the mess, that by the time you do get to using plugins, if you spent a solid hour, let's say, with a no plugin mix, the EQ phase, the compression phase, all those plugins and their decision making will come a lot faster because everything will already be in its almost optimal spot. The static mix, the 10-minute mix, this is all foundational. All I'm finding is that this year I need to extend that time out and try to get a mix that's 85% of the way there without a single plugin. Then and only then will I know that I've gotten the most out of my tracks before I start to introduce any EQ or compression. And then and only then will I know that when I make those EQ and compression decisions, that I'm not going to back myself into a corner and the mix will come out better and probably faster than it possibly could otherwise if I jumped to insert some plugins. That's the challenge for you and for me this year if you're willing to take it. Can you do a no plugin mix for a solid hour? Can you commit to spending longer in the balancing phase? The volume fader, pan pot. Volume fader, pan pot. Can you spend longer getting your mix in that phase and resist the urge to drop in a plugin? I think you'll only see good results come from that. If you've experienced that, leave a comment, let me know how that's helped you or how that's worked in your favor. If you're going to try it on your next mix, let us know how long you intend to spend on just the volume fader pan pot mode. And in general, if the Studio Detox concept has been helpful to you, let us know. I'd love to hear your feedback. My heart in all this is to help you make better music now. My heart in all this is to help you and I have more fun in the studio and to eliminate the junk and eliminate the stuff that distracts us from our goal. I want this year to be the year that you and I get better at recording, we get better at mixing, we have more fun doing it, and we all are focused more on the music and less on all the peripheral stuff. And I think the Studio Detox is going to help that. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the videos. Appreciate the support. Have a great week. Got some great stuff planned for you the next few weeks. We'll talk to you soon.